For this presentation of a Sikha for Parshat Va'et Hanan, I have chosen a Sikha from volume 14 of the Likutei Sichot. The Sikha was delivered on Parshat Va'et Hanan, 1964. The Sikha will focus upon Devarim 6-7, which is understood from the writings of Chazal as referring to two distinct mitzvot. One, a mitzvah of Limud Torah, Talmud Torah. A second, the mitzvah of Kriyat Shema. By way of extension of the Rebbe's analysis to Devarim 6-7, the Sikha also moves into a siyum for Masechet Nida. As a lead-in to the analysis of Devarim 6-7, I shall first place this pasuk into the context of the overall Chumash text, beginning first with a short outline to perek Hey, the perek that continues Moshe's rather lengthy series of 3 addresses to the nation in the year 2488, the year of his death. As part of Moshe's final speeches to the nation, he recounts the events that led up to and contributed the imminent crossing of the Yarden in anticipation of conquering Eretz Canaan as the promised homeland. Perek 5 contains the Aseret HaDibrot, after which Moshe picks up the thread of his speech, and in the segment from Pasuk 19 to 29, he reminds the people, this is the children of the generation that left Egypt, that their parent, after hearing the first 2 commandments of the Aseret HaDibrot, approached Moshe Rabbeinu with the concern that if they were to continue to hear the commandments directly from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the intensity of the Kedusha would cause their neshamot to leave the bodies, a process that we now know as death. Im Yasifu manachnu lishmoa et kol Hashem Elokeinu od, if we are going to continue hearing the words directly from Hashem, v'matnu, we are afraid that this would cause our demise, and hence they suggested that Karev Ata, you should be the one to approach Ushma et kol asher yomar Hashem Elokeinu, and hear all the God wishes to convey to us, his people, and you should then inform us of that information, and we shall dutifully obey whatever it is that God commands of us. And hence, from that point in time onwards, Plan B was implemented, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu conveys the information to Moshe, and it was through Moshe that the Taryag mitzvot were conveyed to the nation. Which leads us into perek Vav of Sefer Devarim. The perek opens with a statement by Moshe Rabbeinu, V'zot ha-mitzvah ha-chukim v'ha-mishpatim. This or these are the commandments, the chupakim and the mishpatim, asher tziva Hashem Elokeichem, that Hashem your God has commanded. One could read 2 options into the word V'zot. The first, that it refers to the Aseret HaDibrot mentioned in the previous perek, and with this reading the translation becomes these have been, past tense, the mitzvah, the chukim and the mishpatim. This is somewhat problematic, and therefore a second option is that the Zot refers to the mitzvot, chukim and mishpatim that are to follow. The translation then becomes the following are the mitzvot, chukim and mishpatim that Hashem has commanded me to convey to you, beginning with the Creed, a set of principles from Pasuk Daled to Pasuk Tet that have been identified as the Shema. Following the Shema from Pasuk Yud to Yudaled, Moshe Rabbeinu cautions the people of the dangers of prosperity and wealth. He cautions them to be mindful regarding the observing of the mitzvot, both the positive and the negative, and the perek ends with one of many instances reminding the nation of their beginnings, and in particular, Yetziat Mitzrayim. Taking a closer look at the segment identified as the Shema, the segment opens with an affirmation of God's unity, the core concept of monotheism that Judaism brought into the world in opposition to pagan worship, which leads into command of Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha, to wholeheartedly commit oneself to serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu through abiding by the Taryag mitzvot, and this Ve'ahavta should be b'chol levavacha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha, a total commitment. And then we have a series of 3 mitzvot, the first being Vishinantam Levanecha, the mitzvah of Talmud Torah, Limud Torah, not just for oneself, but also transmitting that information to one's children who will carry on the tradition after the parents leave the world. And from the very same pasuk, we have the mitzvah to recite the Kriyat Shema, V'shachbacha u'v'komecha, which is understood to refer to the 2 time periods. 1, the recitation of the Shema during daylight hours, and the second recitation during the nighttime hours. Pasuk 8, we have the mitzvah of Ukashartem, the binding of the words of the Shema, Al Yadecha and Beininecha, and finally the placement of the words of the Shema on the mezuzot beitecha v'sharecha, a mitzvah referred to nowadays as the mitzvah of mezuzah. As noted, the focus of the Sikha will be Devarim 6-7, containing two mitzvot, V'dibarta bam, the mitzvah of Limud Torah, and Uv'shach b'cha v'kamecha, the mitzvah of Kriyat Shema.